Welcome everyone to the 2017-18 AGM of the Internet Association of Australia here at the Langdon in Melbourne. We've done something a little different this year. We've taken the show on the road. As many folks know, we usually do our AGMs in Perth, but we figured we'd tack on before Osnog and come here and see many of our members who generally can't make it over. So it's great to see the turnout today. Absolutely fantastic. And hopefully there's sufficient seats and food getting around. There will be another break during the meeting where more refreshments will come out. So cool. So just a brief agenda. We're going to make a motion shortly to accept the 2017 SGM minutes, which was held earlier this year. You'll hear from myself, the chairman, Dave Allen, our secretary, Dave Brown, our treasurer, and then a lovely bit of report on our peering from Joe and some information on our metrics project from Tim. As you've all also been told, for the corporate members in the room, we will be holding an election. It's not so much an election in that everyone who's on the form actually does get a seat. It'll come down to we've got two-year terms and one-year term available. So the results of the election will determine who gets the one-year term and who gets the two-year terms. There'll be a short close after that for us to count the votes, during which we'll have some drinks. Then there'll be a Q&A, the announcement of the election results, and we'll bring the meeting to a close. So this is just an overview of the current committee making up the Association Management Committee. There's myself, Brad Pesca, as chairperson. We have David Brown from Anti-Clockwise as our treasurer. David Allen from Virtutel as our secretary, Nathan Brookfield from Syntronic, Joe Wooler, Shane Short as professional members, and we'd also like to welcome Ian Chu from Netflix to the committee very recently. Our operational staff, as I think just about everyone here would know, we have Mr. Joe Wooler as our technical manager.
Who doesn't?
We've got the lovely Kelly Ireland as our executive officer, who is manning the desk out front. We have Tim Raphael, our peering engineer, who's based in Sydney and doing some great work for us over there. We also have added Marcus Knight as our full stack developer. He's responsible for a large amount of work you guys probably won't see behind the scenes, but we'll see in the form of our portal, to which we have a great many things planned for over the next year. And we've also got Kelly Pauline helping out with our admin and accounts assistant. So if you get phone calls from us chasing bills or whatnot, it's probably her. Cool, so I'll motion to accept the 2017 SGM minutes from member. Shane's motioned that. That's fantastic. If I could get a second to progress that. Chris, thank you very much. Motion passed. Nice. And on to the chairman's report. I'd just like to take a moment and make a special mention of the members of the committee who have joined us throughout the year, but for various reasons had to resign or will be resigning as of this meeting. So special thanks to Tom Berryman, our former chairperson, Tim Hoffman, Paul Arch, our former treasurer, and David Allen, who is with us today, but who has decided not to renominate, which we're all very sad about. Thanks, Dave. So 2017 in review. The association's built into South Australia, and we opened SAIX as a proof of concept. 16 peers, 5 POPs. We're in both of the ORDC facilities, Pipe, Primus, Cola City and Atom. And we consider it a pretty good success, so we're going to convert it from a proof of concept to a permanent exchange in the very near future. We've increased our staff from 3 to 5 to cater for the growing demands that our members are placing upon us, to try and streamline some of our internal processes, which is why Kelly's come on to help out with our accounts, and why we've employed Tim on the East Coast to better improve our East Coast presence. And some of you may remember Will Dowling from last year. He's been replaced by Marcus Knight on our full stack developer position. We've had a focus on governance over the last 12 months as well. We're working on improving our internal processes and procedures, placing some governance around what we do, holding ourselves to the highest standards and the standards that members would expect of us. We're also focusing on delivering new services, which the guys will talk about a little later in the presentation. I don't want to spoil their thunder. And we've increased our international engagement. We've had representation at Apricot this year, the Global Peering Forum, and we'll be at various other forums around the world over the next 12 months as well, which is good. I'd also been asked to take a moment and plug the IAA member survey. It's been sent out to our members in the recent newsletter. Check our website or social media for the link, or you can email us. We want you to have your say. We're really keen to hear from our members what you'd like us to do, what you want to see from the association, how we can better deliver value to you guys, because after all, you know, we wouldn't exist without our members. So please fill it out if you haven't already. Otherwise, the reminders will go out over the course of the next week or so. We'd love to see your feedback, and the feedback, I believe, will be shared at the conclusion of the survey. And with that, I'll hand over to David Allen for the Secretary's report.
Is it? Yeah?
Yeah, you're good.
Hi all. We haven't really had much of a year that a lot of stuff's happened, but just to run over just some brief figures, our membership total for corporate members is now up to 259, 97 professional members, and I believe that's actually increased just recently. We're close up to 100 now. And we started a new class, an affiliate class, and we've got 12 affiliate members now. Earlier in the year, we sent out passed a new association rules, which replaced the original constitution, and that was an SGM in January over in Perth. That was passed by members that participate in the event. We are also, over the past 6 to 8 months, been working on a number of policies, just with relation to staff and for members of the committee, that being email and travel policies. And we've also just recently been working on putting together a charter for our committee, and also just generally for where we see the actual association going, where it's heading, which will help new members of the committee going forward, what roles and responsibilities, and where we'd like to grow the association and take it. So it's pretty much about it for the secretary.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Round of applause for Dave. Thank you. And I'll also hand over to Dave Brown for our Treasurer's report.
Joe spent it all on beer.
So hopefully everyone knows why we exist. We're a not-for-profit, member-owned peering exchange. The peering exchange thing is just what we happen to do today. There's no mandate saying that we do or will always do peering. It just happens to be what we do today and what we bill you for and what you pay for. This is a member-owned organisation, so all of these surveys that you're filling out or chats with Joe on the phone or anyone, if you want something or you want the association to do that, just tell us, because ultimately we're only doing what you guys want. Everyone here owns the association, so all the money we bill, all the surplus, everything is there to be used for what you want to do with it. So yeah, just throwing it out there. We do provide other services other than peering, and that has been off the back of member feedback into CAP, Colo in QV1, Colo in other data centres that we have presences in. That's off member feedback. So on the figures, we billed $1.9 million this year. That's a combination of the yearly corporate membership fees and the money we charge for other services like peering and intercap and long line services. And that's roughly an increase of $450,000 on last year's figures. Just want to also say thanks to all the freebies we get. we do like to tug on the heartstrings of the not-for-profit mantra for free colo, free wavelengths, free equipment where we can get it, free remote hands, free anything you're willing to give us. We all donate our time. The committee's not paid, so thanks to the committee for doing that as well. Yeah, we make more money than we spend, but if we keep making more money in surplus, we need something to spend that on, and either we change our prices or we buy more expensive shiny gear. That will be a challenge going forward. We are growing, the fabric is growing, we will need more 100 gig, 200 gig, whatever the future is, and we're becoming more spread out in the data centres, so we will need to spend more on transmission. Which brings us to the next point, universal port pricing. For those of us that actually know how the network's put together, there is no difference to us between a 1 gig and a 10 gig port. It's just the settings on the optic or the SFP that we've put in it. So why do we charge more? Well, turns out we're making a surplus. So since we're member owned, meant to not be making money, cost recovery, we've decided to allow the 1 gig peers to upgrade to 10 gig for no additional charge. And if you want to keep your 10 gig port, it's going to get cheaper.
Do you have a word to end the end for us?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Thanks very much, Dave. Fantastic. And now the thing we're all really here to hear from, the peering update from Joe. Hey!
Alright. Member services, they haven't really changed over the last 12 months. I don't think there's anything new in that list since last AGM or SGM. Co-location QV1, peering, extended reach, VLLs, same. There's our data centre locations, our POP locations. So the purple ones are new sites within the last 12 months. The red are what we're going to do within the next 12 months. So if you've got a requirement, let me know. Oh, there's more. Look at that. all the sites. Some stats over the last 2-3 years. Yeah, good growth, I'd say so. Sydney's obviously gone mental. But that's where everyone is, right? So yeah, it's exceptional growth there. South Australia's grown quite a bit. That's contributed to the cases that we're dropping in for the local guys down there. And we offer extended reach down there now as well. Oh, I missed South Australia. Whoops. I'll update that and make it available later. Adelaide, where's that? There's a little bit of growth still. I mean, not in terms of prefixes. There's not a huge growth in Sydney, but there are quite a few members, as you'll see, or peers that have come on since the last 12 months. There we go. Look at that. Over 200. Yay. Yeah, it's again, peering's growing. It hasn't really slowed down. We're still getting a consistent stream of peers come on board. A lot of people are now, obviously, if they're in one location, they're building their networks bigger and better, so they're going into more locations, which just helps us in the local traffic profiles. So it's going really well. Yay. And there's the traffic growth on all the peering points. That will look better moving forward, and Tim's going to have a chat about that later, about the metrics and how we're grabbing all these stats. That's a bit junky, but hey, it's a good representation on the traffic spikes and the growth over time. Sydney's awesome. That's pretty much it. We'll leave questions to the end, so don't ask me now. If you've got anything, please don't put your hand up. Other business, Brad. I'm going to steal your seat.
There you go for it. Thank you, Joe. And so look, here's where we put a call out to members. Any other business, not Q&A, Q&A's for the end, but any other business, any other members or any members wish to raise at the moment with the association? Going once, going twice. Awesome. So here's where I'll hand over to Tim to talk about the metrics project that's currently underway, which I think, as many of you see, will be very impressive. Tim.
Thanks, Brad. So, you should all know the same monitor.state.ix.asn.au boxes that we have. They use Cacti. We've been pulling 5-minute averages from switches and switch ports with an isolated installation in each state. So if you have your graph public, you can log in there and have a look and see what other graphs are there, look at the aggregates. Great on a per state basis, doesn't really give much insight as to the whole association. Great for individual ports. What we wanted to do was to give members a greater insight into the traffic they're putting on the IX, the traffic of other members, and we felt that 5 minutes isn't bad, but it doesn't capture traffic peaks. It doesn't give true resolution. Storing in RRDs as well means that the resolution is lost over time as you average the graphs out to be larger. What we felt we needed was more insight, better resolution, but without increasing operational overhead. We want to be able to do more with less. So we've built a system that can operate in a centralised way and give us the insight that we wanted, but be highly resilient to outages. Because intercap breaks happen, fibre cuts happen, you just have to be able to deal with that. So we've built a new tech stack based on InfluxDB as a time series storage with a Grafana on the front end. Puppet is our choice of configuration management, so it's all driven through there. A lot of this highly technical stuff will be discussed in a blog post that I put live just before the AGM, so please log on to ix.asn.au and check it out. But we've built a stack using quite a bit of internal development with bird tool improvements, tools for InfluxDB, Puppet providers for all the different tools that we're using, as well as some tools to help extract the data out of the extremes that we do use. Most of these tools will be open sourced as well. That's something we're aiming to do, and we'll make sure that members are notified about that. They can go and check them out and talk to us on any improvements. So what I'd now like to do is do a demo. There's a publicly facing web page. If I need to talk louder because I'm stepping away from the mic, let me know. Hopefully a seamless transition. No, not quite. Close enough. So once you log into metrics.ix.asn.au, you'll land on the home page where you have a choice of 3 dashboards. I've given a rough layout of what each dashboard does, but just briefly, because we're collecting the data all in a central place from satellite collectors, we can start doing analysis across IXs. We can look at the total amount of traffic that we're doing on all IXs. We can do breakdowns and peaks. We can look at the amount of traffic that's been done in various periods of time, all with great resolution. So New South Wales IX at the moment is doing 112-ish gigabits. You can see the minimum, the average, and the maximum over the last graph period. Additionally, you can dive in for more information into a particular IX. Let's go with, I don't know, Victoria's undervalued. We're in Melbourne. We're in Melbourne. Let's give Victoria something to talk about. We've seen an enormous growth in Victoria as well. It's jumped to, I think we maxed at 72, 73, 74 gig in the last couple of months, and so that's huge over the last 12 months. So this lovely dashboard gives you more insight into the traffic on that particular IX. So in Victoria we do nearly 15 petabytes every month of traffic pushed across the IX, and you can see that over time, as well as routes on the route servers. So all the data that was in Cacti is now displayed here. For per peer, we now have this lovely dashboard where one page per peer shows you all your locations and the graphs of your routes, your traffic and your packets per second. So we have a transit network that gives the content to our peering network. So this is the landing page for our content network. You can see the aggregate up the top and then a breakdown per device. So if you're peered onto 2 of our different devices in one particular state, it'll show you 1 line per device. So PPS on the right and total traffic. You can't quite see the scale on the left, just blame the projector. There's some magic going on down here. And then down the bottom you have a complete view of V4 and V6 accepted routes and filtered routes. So really clear, really easy to see exactly what's going on.
Have you got NZ in there at the moment as well?
Not yet.
Okay, the route server for NZ in there.
The route servers for NZ are in there because they're controlled by Puppet as well.
Okay. Okay.
But NZ is coming soon, TM. So yeah, please check it out. If you're having any issues with the platform, let us know. The blog post goes into a reasonable amount of detail of the tech stack we've used. If you have any questions, email knock@ix. I'll definitely respond and give you any more information you'd be interested in. But please go and check it out. We'd be very interested for your feedback. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Tim. So on to the business part of the committee meeting, which is the committee nominations. We had one nomination for the professional class, David Hooton, who is automatically elected. So congratulations, David. And we had 3 nominations for the corporate class: Darryl Collins from Akamai, Shane Short from Innerbox Holdings, and Nathan Brookfield from Simtronic Technologies. So as mentioned before, due to there being 2 by 2-year positions and 1 by 1-year position, we'll hold an election for the corporate positions. For those who haven't voted already, please rank candidates in order of preference, and we'll work on those numbers once everyone gets them returned. So with that, we'll call an intermission to do the voting and do the vote count, and to allow everyone to refill their drinks and nibblies. Please talk amongst yourselves. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. And before we announce the results of the election, we'd like to open it to Q&A from anyone here. This is an opportunity for anyone who's here to ask, I guess, any questions of the association committee or our illustrious technical manager. If there's any questions from the floor. Going once. Yes?
When Joe gets here, can you explain why you can't load balance your aggregated inputs here?
That's a very good question, and I'll get Joe to come see you personally on that.
Ask your question again.
Joe will come see you. Any other questions after that?
It's fixed.
It's fixed. Okay.
What I did fixed is actually going to be fixed very soon.
Okay, there you go. It's fixed.
There is a workaround. There's a fix up.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice? Fantastic. And so I'll hand back to Dave for the announcement of the election results.
So going in order of the names on the ballot, we've got Darryl with a 2-year term, we've got Shane with a 1-year term, and we've got Nathan with a 2-year term.
Round of applause. Thank you. And so on that note, we've got some goodie bags for the new the new committee members. So if I could have Ian and David and Darryl come up to the front, please. Oh, yep. Ian, you. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Thank you. David, thank you. Welcome aboard. And Darryl, thank you. Welcome aboard. Cool. Round of applause for the election winners. And with that, we'll call the meeting to a close. The room is ours till 6. Please stick around, enjoy a drink, enjoy the snacks, and we look forward to seeing you all over the next couple of days and at our next AGM in 12 months. Thank you and good evening.